Good morning, Mayor, members of council. For the last couple of months, we have been coming to you and providing you with an update on the CARES Act. And just for the viewing audience, for those who may not know specifically what that is, I know it's been an overkill. We've been talking a lot about it. But the CARES Act is the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, which was passed by Congress on March the 27th with over $2 trillion in a relief package that is designed to protect the American people from the public health and the economic impacts of COVID-19. The team and I have been working very hard on pulling all of this together, and of course the team includes myself, Deputy City Manager Pam Hodge, and Finance Director Angelica Alexander. And then of course we will talk a little bit more about the additional team members that we have, our partners who are heading this now for us. We are now in phase one of the process, and phase one is where we have until September the 1st to expend and to submit in the amount of $10,248,054, and so that's our phase one allocation. And of course, what we have already received, they have deposited the 30% of that, which is the $3,074,416. We have been waiting some time for that. A lot of other communities already had theirs and have submitted their quarterly reports, and because there have been some stalemates, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we have finally received it on August the 3rd. And again, all of that has to be submitted and expended by September the 1st, so we have a very aggressive timeline in getting all these things done. That amount was based on the per capita basis of our population of 195,769 persons. Our CARES Act contractor is Media, Marketing, and More, led by Marquette McKnight. And of course, she has a team of people that are working with her and pulling all of this together on the community effort side. And so they are responsible for gathering the applications and from the community organizations and assessing all of that, looking at all of that, submitting all of that information to me. So if you can imagine that just on yesterday, we held a press conference, and that press conference was to talk about launching and the community aspect of that. And so we launched the website, and I'll share with you that website in just a minute. But we've launched the website and we've opened the application process up to the community. And of course, we're talking about $34 million. But in phase one, of course, we're only dealing with the $10 million through September the 1st. And so what we are looking to do on the community side is there are three categories that we are opening up the grants for. And those three categories include medical and health, community assistance, and small business arts organizations. And of course, on the small business side, that is 100 employees or less. Now, who qualifies, or what expenses qualify? Personal protective equipment, the PPEs that you've been hearing so much about, where you have purchased those for employees or customers and those kinds of things. And so, of course, renovation. If you have retrofitted your business and in order to provide for social distancing, or safety measures, that qualifies as well. You know, if you've put any shields up or you've had to get automatic doors, those kinds of things are COVID eligible expenses. COVID-19 testing, mobile testing, contract tracing, any of those things that are health related that are directly impacted as a result of COVID-19, things that you've had to do. Technology expenses for teleworking purposes, hotspots, VPNs, all of those things are eligible. They qualify. Community assistance that we're talking about includes the food assistance, housing, child care, transportation, funeral expenses, legal expenses, or legal services, health services, medical, mental health, and meal delivery services, and many more. But what we want you to do is to go on to, and at this time, I'm going to ask them to pull our website, pull the website up, and if you will go to columbusga.gov/Columbus Cares. Again, our website, as they pull it up, is columbusga.gov/Columbus Cares. And I just want to be able to show you what that looks like, and so that you know just how easy it is to get there. This is the website that we have, the Columbus Cares COVID Relief Fund. And as we slowly scroll up, it talks about the application overview. It tells you exactly what you need to do. Continue to scroll. It tells you exactly what you need to do. The applications are available starting on yesterday. The deadline to submit those applications is August the 24th at 5 p.m. Remember, we have a September 1 deadline, so it's a quick turnaround. But this website tells you what organizations are eligible to apply, nonprofits, business, medical. Then it talks about which ones are not eligible to apply. It talks about the CARES eligible expenses, continue to roll, that I've just gone through. And then we get down, continue, keep going. And then it talks about the application submission requirements. There is an expense template that we have on this website that it's a sample of how you need to submit your information, because there's a portal that we've got to input everything in. And so we want to make sure that as you submit your information, it's in the format that we need it, so that we don't have to come back to you or have any delays. So there's a template that you need to use, and then you see a button that says online application. That's when you go in then to submit everything online. And it's really just as easy as that. You visit the website, read and review the overview and the facts, download the template, determine which category you fall in, gather all of your supporting documents, visit the CARES website, and complete the application, and then submit by August the 24th, not later than 5 p.m. Okay? All right, thank you for that.
I do want to pause because, oftentimes when we solicit or have a process for applications, and we have a deadline, organizations will call the mayor's office or call my office because it was August 24th at 5 and they call on August 25th at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we told them we can't help them.
That's right.
I don't want small businesses to sleep through the $34 million. Small businesses. Mm-hmm. If you contact Deputy City Manager Goodwin or me or anyone else at 5:01 on August 24th, we're sorry.
Yeah.
It's too late.
It's too late.
And so small businesses, shame on you if you don't go to this website, whether you're a barber shop, a hair salon, mm-hmm. a barber shop, a hair salon, an insurance agency, mm-hmm. whoever you are, you need to go to the website. There's $34 million. And if you've purchased all this stuff that the Deputy City Manager has mentioned, and you don't go to the website and you don't try and take advantage of the reimbursement by August 24th at 5, yeah. And then your friends who have a barber shop or hair salon or insurance agency or other businesses take advantage, and they're telling you about it on the 25th, you're too late. So I wanted to pause to really place emphasis
Thank you.
that people will hear us and go to the website.
That's right. Also, I want to mention that expenses that are already reimbursed by any other source, such as insurance or donors or CARES funding from another source, is not eligible. So again, those things that have already been reimbursed and are eligible under another source are not eligible at this point either. I also want to thank our IT department for working so closely with us and with the team to get this up and going very quickly, and they did just that, and so we thank you for that. Go back to the presentation. The timeline again that we are working under, of course, on August the 6th, a media advisory went out regarding the press conference, which was held on yesterday. Again, the September 1 is our deadline for submission. Phase 2 submission date, it's still yet to be determined. We are waiting for them to tell us when that will be, but December the 31st is when the CARES Act funding closes out. So December the 31st, unless they come and give us something different, some new instruction. Now, we did have a significant update that was from the Governor's Office of Planning and Budget that actually noted that public safety salaries, including payroll and associated benefits for law enforcement, fire, EMS, and EMA appear to be eligible for 100% reimbursement. We are, again, continuing to research that to make sure that there are no gray areas there, but we believe that to be the case. They're telling us that. But again, just remember that we have been coming to you, and it seems as though every time we come to you, there's a new change or a new update, because this process and this is very, very fluid. And so as we get information, new updates, new direction, as we promised, will come to you and let you know. The state's response or the request by the Association of City and County Governments and the Georgia Municipal Association on July 31st, they transmitted a letter to Governor Brian Kemp requesting that September 1st deadline for the expenditures in phase 1 of the CARES Act allocation be extended to coincide with the date his office sets as phase 2. Again, we still don't know what that date is, but we know it's past September the 1st, and we, because they know that their cities and counties need more time because of this rushed effort, they are now pleading to move that date. And the request was made in part as a result of the delays in opening the CARES app web portal and the delay in providing the educational seminars. We have literally, the portal just opened last week or so, and we have been able to do a test submittal of one line item, one expenditure, and to date, we still have not received any kind of approval or response on that, so which lets us know the process is going to take some time, particularly for us to put in $34 million plus of expenditures. It's going to be lengthy. It's going to be it's going to take some time. And so our initial intent was to be able to come back to this council and to let you know what those expenditures were before we submit anything. But because of the delay in the time, again, it's going to be August the 24th before we receive the applications. That team, Media Marketing More, and her team has to go through them before they then submit them to the city so that we can do our part and inputting into the portal and then having everything in by September the 1st. We will not be able to then come back to this council and ask for approval or to share with you prior to submission what those expenses are going to be. And so the city manager is just going to proceed with the submittal, and he will brief council after the fact unless otherwise coming from the mayor and directed by the mayor and council to do otherwise.
Ms. Goodman, excuse me.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem, Excuse me, Deputy City Manager, would you send to council sort of a snapshot of the website and other information we may need in case we get a call from a business that's interested in looking into this
Absolutely.
further?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
will.
Thank you.
And let me just say, Mayor and Council, you know, I told you at the initial presentation that we'd bring all of this back to you, and you will give us to go to proceed, thinking that immediately after the initial briefing with you that we would get the information we need, the deposit from the state of Georgia. That did not happen. And so we just got our first deposit like last
August
Friday,
3rd.
on August 3rd. And we received a deposit of roughly $3 million on August 3rd, which is, I believe, was on a Friday. That was deposited into our account, but yet there had been and still has been no training. I received an email from Georgia Municipal Association that I haven't forwarded to staff yet, that they are going to set up training on August 10th. Okay? Well, we have a September 1 report deadline, and we've got to get feedback from the community with their reimbursable expenses, put it into the system, and try and do it. If we hear from them by the 24th, then we got to go to work getting it all into the system for September 1 report date. We don't have another meeting or an opportunity to brief you. So we are going to do as we do sometimes with grants. We proceed with the grant when the deadline is time sensitive, and then we come back and ask you for authorization to apply and accept after the fact. And so it appears that's what we'll be doing in this instance.
And I'm just going to point out, the city manager's been working, as has the city attorney, through the County Attorneys Association, and I have also been in contact with the governor's office, but also through GMA and ACCG. And we've been anticipating this deposit since about June, because they were talking in June about the process and how it would begin to be deposited, and they kept trying to work kinks out, and it took a long time before the money was readily made available. And the good news, though, I think, is that we have known this is coming, or we were hoping it was coming. So we've been putting together, under Deputy City Manager Goodwin's leadership, some potential expenditures that should be eligible for reimbursement. So with the next two waves, I think we'll still have time for some of the small businesses and some of the individuals to be able to get their requests in. But don't wait, because this is going to fly by. It's an incredible blessing, an incredible resource that we've been given access to, and we need to try to get folks in this community to take advantage of it. Councilor Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy City Manager Goodwin, I just want to make sure I heard this right, because it's, again, extremely important. So walk through what you just said about the small businesses and their opportunities to apply as it relates to the CARES Act criteria.
Yes. Again, let me just mention that deadline is August the 24th at 5 p.m. So the expenses that will qualify, and of course this is just a sample of those that qualify. If they go onto the website, they'll see a whole list of those things that qualify. But what I have mentioned are the personal protective equipment that I'm sure everybody has bought into and have used for employees, customers, and the like. Renovation cost, if you've retrofitted your business or rehabbed in any way that provides for social distancing or safety measures for your people as a result of COVID-19. Now, that does not mean if you go in and something that you had planned to do anyway and you're going to paint the building, or you want to just spruce things up. That has nothing to do with COVID. But if you specifically have made repairs or retrofit things as a result of that in order to be able to social distance, then those things are eligible. COVID-19 testing, to include mobile testing or contract tracing. Any of those things that have taken place are eligible. Technology expenses for teleworking to include computers or hotspots, VPNs, and there are more things on the list. Community assistance in the medical side of that includes, and even from the churches, you know, we've had a number of churches that I think almost every week have feeding programs where they do provide food boxes for the community. Those things are eligible. Again, food assistance, it's eligible. Housing, childcare, transportation, funeral expenses, legal services, health services, utility assistance, medical, mental health services, meal delivery, case management, and the list goes on. Again, all of these things have to have taken place. I'll say, had it not been for COVID, you wouldn't be doing these things.
Well, this information is extremely invaluable. Like the city manager said, I mean, this is a one-time opportunity to really help a lot of folks, a lot of small businesses. I'm just wondering if we're, you know, our approach, are we reaching out to these small businesses? I mean, I'm concerned about getting the message out there versus them coming to us or listening to this presentation, this council meeting, and going to a website. Are we being proactive in trying to get the information out in the community? Because I just feel like this is good stuff. I mean, somebody's going to miss out on this. And like the city manager said, that opportunity won't come back.
Well, let me tell you, our partners, the Media Marketing and More, and her team have been making personal phone calls. They have gotten the business license information from our revenue department, so they have a list of all of that, and they have been beating the bushes. They have been, just yesterday, when the portal, when the application and the website opened, by the end of the day, I believe they had 12 already that had submitted. And so the word that they were getting this out even before the website opened. And so they have been beating the bushes and making this thing work. So we have it all on social media. The press conference that we had on yesterday, of course, is out there, and we ask people to like it, to look at it, to share it, for others to see it. And although the website, this is where it starts, this is where you have to go, the word has already gotten out. And so we will then, if you go to just even the Columbus Consolidated Government Facebook pages, if you will please go there and share the information, that's assured that people will get it. And social media is one of the best mediums in order to make that happen. And so, yes, sir, they've been getting the word out. It's not just a matter of what you hear here today, but we have a whole nother group working on this, and that's their purpose.
Well, if you would be so kind enough, if you would provide a little summary PDF to the council members that we can
Sure.
post and get out the information. You know, it's invaluable.
This is some good stuff.
Yeah, it
Yes.
is. And if I may, Counselor, that's why I want you and the community to understand the timeline that we have been working with. We did not have information, and so this is a short time frame that we are working in, and the finance director just provided me some of the organizations that they've reached out to, and there's a reason. Media Marketing and More is a marketing media organization, and we figured they know how to get information out to the community and would be able to assist us in that regard, and that's one reason we're proud to partner with them. But organizations, outreach, some of them I'll just mention: Continuum of Care, Partners, E-News, Chamber of Commerce, Coronavirus Recovery Fund, the Columbus Rotary, News Conference with all the media, social media, E-News to Master Database, United Way Executive Director to get the word out, WRBL, Ministerial Alliance, Housing Authority are just a few. And Councilor Davis, I do agree with you. The reason I tried to be dramatic earlier, and I mentioned small businesses like barbershops and hair salons and other small agencies, I don't want them to think that they don't have an opportunity. And the deputy city manager over finance and plan development sent me a note a second ago and said, make sure they understand that the 34 million includes all of the city's expenses too. Mm-hmm. So if you don't apply and you don't want it, we're going to eat it up, the 34 million. So just know that from setting up this room as a council chambers, all of this equipment we went and bought, mm-hmm. you know, and those people that repaired the system in that short notice, those are city employees. They're not hired employees. And you saw that they were able to get us back up because they are technically savvy. They know what they're doing. But we are looking at every opportunity to collect from a city standpoint. And we hope that small businesses, especially small businesses, will do the same and make sure you take advantage of your portion of the 34 million because the city government, you heard me say that every penny we are going to take advantage of getting the city government's portion mm-hmm. of the 34 million. So small business out there, do what you got to do, and we're going to do what we can to get the word out to everyone. Call your friends, post it on your social media, Facebook, so that your friends and the businesses that you patronize that are small business will know that this money is out there, and they will go to the website and they will do what they need to do to take advantage of the opportunity. August 24th at 5:00 p.m., not 5:01, they got to get it done. So we hope you'll help us, all of those listening by television and those here in the audience today.
Mr. Mayor, you know, we talked about trying to do something for our community to stabilize it going through this as far as economic development goes, and especially with the small businesses that have been impacted. But you know, back in March and April and May, a lot of people were on the edge. I mean, they were on the edge getting evictions, just being put out of business, and probably some of them are out of business today. But this is an opportunity, and I just hope that we do our best to get this message out.
We will, and I think that our partner was chosen in large part because of their success rate at getting kind of these types of messages out to the community, and because they know so many of the nonprofits mm-hmm. and so many organizations that have been out there working. Councilor Thomas.
It would seem to me, Mr. City Manager, that if I have a small business and I'm not sure that my expenses qualify, I ought to go ahead and submit those, because all they can do is say, no, you don't, that doesn't qualify. So don't submit just because you think maybe, you know, it doesn't qualify. Go ahead and submit it. And it may be that it does qualify, but don't miss out because you've said, well, you know, maybe it doesn't.
Right.
Very good advice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Goodwin. Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's going to be important, and we think we've got the right partner that's going to get the word out. I think if somebody misses out on this, it's because they weren't looking for opportunities. So we're gonna do our best. I also had told Councilor House that I would make mention of one very important aspect of the masks that people have been wearing throughout the community, and remind people that the government does not have, and we're not allowed to, under the current executive order, a mandatory ordinance or requirement that masks be worn. However, business owners that own their facility and own their business, they have absolute control over their domain right there. So just because we don't have a mandatory mask ordinance, one of the things I've been pleased to see is a number of businesses are posting signs that you must wear a mask to enter their store and enter their place of business. So if you see those, get your mask before you go in. Don't get in a shouting match with the owners. They're just doing what they think they need to do to protect their employees.